is about if you are still living with a narcissist. I saw a comment from someone in the community who said they're still living with a narcissist, someone that clearly doesn't care, but they won't leave. And I just want to say, if that is you, I see you. This is one of the hardest places to be because people think that it's easy to leave. You know, they'll say, well, why don't you just leave? Like it's so simple, like flipping a light switch. But it's not. Sometimes there's finances, sometimes there's kids, there's housing, there's fear, there's exhaustion. Some people might be afraid to leave because the narcissist may be physical. Um, so you're not staying because you're weak. You're staying because you're trying to survive and figure it out. And I'm not in that position anymore, but I do remember being in that space. Hi, Katie. Welcome in. I remember being in that space where I started seeing everything clearly. And I asked myself, could I tolerate this? Could I tolerate this just for the help, for the financial stability, for if our vehicles broke down, that he knew how to fix them and I wouldn't have to worry about it because we had two vehicles. And then I thought the answer to that was no, because the pain of staying became greater than the pain of leaving. I figured I was single before he came along and I will be okay. You know, because they make you feel like you cannot survive without them. That I remember he brought up something, well, what if this happens to the pickup truck? I said, well, I'll figure it out. I will find a way and figure it out. And they want you stuck in that fear so you don't leave. And I'm trying to go back to those memories because I shove them down for a reason. They're not fun to remember, but I want this to be a safe space for people that are coming in that are still living with the narcissist and having to deal with that on a daily basis, and your nervous system is just so heightened and out of whack all the time because you're walking on eggshells. You're wondering, when's the next bomb going to drop? They're nice this minute, but how long is that going to last? And living like that is so incredibly hard. And a lot of people don't understand that. You know, they think when you don't live it and you're not inside it, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about because there's so many of us out there, like you just can't explain what's going on. And when you're living with them, people don't see what's going on behind closed doors. They see the nice, charming, helpful, funny, you know, they think, wow, they're so lucky, you know, they do this, this, and this, but they have no freaking clue what's going on behind closed doors, how they are emotionally just annihilating your feelings and your sense of self, gaslighting you so hard that you don't trust yourself at all. And then I know there's stories out there that are, I don't want to say so much worse, but it is so much worse. Like the physical violence is insane. You know, people winding up in hospitals, and a lot of people stay out of fear for that happening, you know, and my heart goes out to them so much because I have been in a situation with the previous relationship before this narcissist, because my whole life has been narcissist, and having to go to a shelter is a scary thing. It turned out to be a really good experience for me, but it's hard going into uncharted waters, leaving one situation and going into the next where you don't know anybody, you don't know what the space is like, what's your day-to-day life going to be like. And then if you have kids, which I did at the time, you've got to worry about them trying to hunt you down and find you, and most men are narcissists. I agree, there are female narcissists, but we hear more about the men for sure. And most of the violent, you know, when you hear about narcissists getting arrested for domestic violence, 9 times out of 10, it's the man. My adult son asked me, do you see yourself happy with him for the next 10 years? That question put me into a panic attack. Yeah, because reality hit you, didn't it? And your nervous system's like, oh, hell no. No, 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 no. Yeah, and the funny thing that you say that, Katie, is because the narcissist I was with asked me that at one time. It's like they are aware, but they simply don't give a damn. Like he said, this is going to be our relationship for the rest of your life. Is this what you want for the rest of your life? So he knew. They know exactly what they're doing. But I don't remember who it was in the community that wanted me to do the live about this. I hope that you're in here, because I really want people to have a safe space to come, to feel like, I really want to create my videos and content around what you guys are going through, because I know we're all in different levels of the healing phase. So if you're in here, hi and welcome. If you don't want to let yourself be known, that's fine too. This is a safe space. You don't have to put yourself out there. Just sit back and watch. That's fine too. I just wanted to let you know, I hear you and I see you. This community means the world to me. Because when you're in a narcissistic relationship, especially if you're still living with them, your world feels so unstable. Like there is a storm and a tornado going on 24/7. It might stop a little bit, like a little bit of sprinkles here and there, and then it's full on storm again. So how's everybody today? Where are you all from? How many here are still living with the narcissist? Still under the same rooftop? And I'm not upstairs today because the lighting in there was so terrible, and my computer didn't work out. Narcissist, male or female, receive an erotic pleasure from watching and being the cause of your demise. Yes, very sadistic, isn't it? Yep, absolutely, because the fact that they know what they're doing and they get fuel from that is disturbing. I will never be able to wrap my mind around that. And we can't, because our brains don't work like that. But for those of you back on track who are still living with the narcissist, the best way I remember dealing with it was gray rock. Just try not to give them any emotion, because they are going to try to trigger you. They're going to do things to upset you. They're going to cause fights or pick little things that they know is going to get a rise out of you. So trying to respond versus react is a skill that I know I had to learn. I'm still working on it. Just the reactive abuse in itself, because that's their fuel. That's where they get it all. And just the planning. I remember the time that I went to the shelter. This wasn't for this past relationship. It was another narcissist. Having to leave secretly. I had to put all my things in storage little by little, and he didn't notice, because sometimes they don't pay attention to things like that. And then just one day I moved out. I went to the shelter and it was done. But because we were in the same city, he still stalked me. I think he found out where the place was. I'm not sure, but yeah, that was not a fun time. When you try to show them love or be nice, they use that against you. Yeah, they take your kindness as weakness. All your vulnerabilities they use as a weapon, and they use kindness as a weapon too. Some of them, like the one that I was with, he used kindness as a weapon. He was very helpful, in front of people. But he would even help in the house, with dishes. And then the narcissist I was with before that wouldn't help. They're the opposite. Some of them, I think the overt was the one that he wouldn't help. He was more, they're easier to read. The covert are the hardest, because I didn't know, like, someone so nice and so kind and so helpful could be so hateful and deceitful and use that for a weapon. We have gray matter. We have gray matter. Yes, we do. They do not. Their anterior insula, the part of the brain that associates with empathy, it's scientifically proved. I'm not just saying that. They have less gray matter than we do. Add a Q&A sticker, binge watch, yes or no. What is this? I am still binge watch, yes or no. I don't understand this, you guys. Sorry, I'm still trying to get familiar with YouTube lives and start a Q&A. Should I start a Q&A? What is this? Let's see. Binge watch, yes, no. Can you guys see anything on your screen? I don't understand how this works. And I haven't been able to download these and edit them. There is so much stuff to do. You see that on the screen that says binge watch, yes or no? Are you guys able to answer that? Well, I don't know what this is all about. I have no idea how to get rid of it either. I don't understand this. It's so much different from TikTok. Let's see. So anyways, for those of you in here, how long, if you are out of the narcissist, are out of under the same roof, how long have you been out? I'm gonna give you guys a chance to answer. So I remember, fighting with the thoughts that, I tried to make things, well, maybe it wouldn't be so bad if he stayed here. At least I've had, financial security. I would never have a broken down vehicle because he could fix them. And I tried to bargain with myself, talk back and forth. Have any of you guys done that? When you were trying to get out, you were deciding, should I stay or should I go? That song, should I stay or should I go? That's what 21 months out. Awesome. What was it like for you when you left, Katie? Did you struggle back and forth with that? Like, was there the fear? Because fear keeps people stuck for so long inside of these dynamics with narcissists. The fear of finances. Finances is huge because the economy nowadays, it's like it's getting harder and harder. Like the paychecks don't go up, but everything else goes up. And so that creates even a bigger fear for a lot of people to stay stuck in these kind of toxic dynamics. And it's really sad. The fear is no joke. Yeah, I was December 6th, so January, February, March, April, going on 14 months. Just giving you guys a chance to answer. But what made me finally leave is when I told him, I have never set down boundaries for you, because he was going through this men's course that I suggested that he paid $600 for. But I don't think it was for narcissists, because a lot of the men on there were healing and they were doing the exercises and they were making a difference and making changes, like positive actual changes. But he was just going through the motions to try to check off the boxes here. Everything's for show with them. So, and I knew that, I could feel it. And so I asked myself, and I told him, because it talked about boundaries, that course did. And I said, I've never given you boundaries, so I'm going to give you boundaries right now. The next time that we have a conversation about something that's bothering me or something that I want to work out and come to a resolution, if you lie to me and you gaslight me or you walk away or there's name calling or you hit me or throw something, we're done. And he did not believe me. So when he crossed that boundary, that was it. Because I also asked myself, could I put up with this just for finances and to have stability, to have someone here to fix the vehicles? And the answer came down to no, because I could not continue laying next to a man every night that was okay with looking me in the eye and lying to me and gaslighting me and then getting physically violent with me like that and throwing the keys in my face. That was the one that broke, that broke the straw right there. I was consumed with fear of my death by him. Yeah, that is so scary because it happens. We all know, and we've heard the stories of some that don't make it out of these relationships. It's a horrible place to be. Horrible. So back to that, at some point it stops being able to what they can provide and starts being about what it can cost you. The nightmares. How many of you guys can relate to the nightmares? Waking up out of a dead sleep, gasping for breath because your body is telling you this person is bad for you. Get out. Anybody relate to that? It's not even that I need to leave them as much as it is that the Lord showed me where I could serve out my greatest purpose for him in my life, that it would be in the town I lived in when I was in my formative years. Katie, you still have the nightmares? Wow. Okay, let me go back to this. So, Robbie, are you still living with them? I could serve out my greatest purpose for him in my life. So that's telling me that maybe you're still there? Yes, I am single now, but in the past I had nightmares when I was in a relationship with a woman. Yeah, those nightmares, they are no joke. And it feels like, we try to get escape from this by going to sleep, but sometimes you can't even escape it going to sleep because your body knows before your brain does what is going on, and it's trying to warn you and trying to tell you, exit stage left. We need to get out of here ASAP. It knows. And then even after that, like Katie's still having them, if you're still having them, it takes a while to come back from that because we're still at a heightened state, the hypervigilance, all of that. It doesn't just automatically go away when we leave them or they leave us. Unfortunately, it sticks around. And I feel for those that are still living in those dynamics, in those situations. But even after you get out, it somehow feels like you're still living with them. I've gotten rid of pretty much everything of his. If he didn't take it, I threw it out. Even coffee cups that reminded me of him, because those trigger those memories, and it feels like their energy is still in your space. If you weren't able to move to a completely different place, but even then, I don't know. Has anybody in here moved away and felt like they're still, their presence is still there, even in your new space? Living with my oldest son actually lives with me. That's good, Robbie. It's good that you have someone there, and I hope that he's protective and having you feel a little bit safer, having someone there. In my living room, totally separate. It's compounded when you realize most of your life has been controlled by narcissist. Yeah. It's such a shock when you look back at your entire life and go, wow, all of it was toxic and narcissist, and all the signs that we now know that we didn't know before. It's insane to look back at, I realized he was doing this at 4. Who was doing what at 4? Help me understand, Robbie, what that means. I still love him, and the thought of leaving him makes me sad. Okay, so you're not out. My son, when I took them to therapy. Right. Your son was doing what at 4? So I'm having a hard time putting the story together. I want to understand you. Still love him, and the thought of leaving him makes me sad. My son. You talk about leaving your son. All 3, I was a single dad. Wow. I feel for you on the single parenting thing. Like all 3 of my children, I was a single mother. It's no joke being a single parent. And then when you have the narcissistic abusive dynamics on top of that, you know, and when you're still living under the same roof with them, it's like you're physically there, but you're mentally checking out, you know, and walking on the eggshells, you know, starting to see the patterns clearly that you used to excuse. You feel disconnected, exhausted, confused, and you're grieving something that is still in front of you because you know it's not going to work out when you start to accept that. At Vanderbilt, he would start fights regardless of what kind of treatment he got, as long as he was the center of attention. Yes, it is tough. I think his mom started it, abandoning him for 10 years. Yeah. Yeah, the narcissist always has to be the center of attention, no matter what the situation. They are very jealous, even though on the outside they might appear confident and happy and like nothing bothers them, unbothered. They truly are. If we were to open them up and see what's going on inside, it's probably like this tangle. You know how you see those lines, they're just all in a ball. That's what the inside of them is like. Because you can you imagine just, that's just how you operate on a daily basis. Like, what can I get from this person? You're scanning out and you're adjusting your mask to that situation and that person. And they're always calculating, always trying to figure out their next move. They're 10 to 20 steps ahead of you. It's difficult to raise children when your inner child was never allowed to heal. Absolutely. And especially if the narcissist is still in the home and they're like working against you and they go against you. And so the child is confused. They don't know who to listen to, you know, and they're so manipulative. And it's a sad story that a lot of kids, because they're so manipulative and convincing, that child will go with that narcissist parent. They destroy families. And children are so young, and exactly like you said, we don't know. They don't know what's going on. And how do you navigate when your children are so young and they see what they see, they're trying to process it, they just want to feel safe, and they will do anything to survive, and they just do the best they know how, operating out of their trauma. Exactly. Yeah, if I could go back, if we could go back, I know, I'm not the only one that says that. If we could just go back with what we know now and raise our kids again. I pray for him and love him, but the Lord gave me something to complete also. The last time I really felt connected to a community was in the desert. God gave me a vision. I agreed, and okay, I'm waiting for the rest of your message to come through. So when you're still in those dynamics and you're living with them under the same roof, you just stop trying to get them to understand you. You stop reaching out for the validation. Like I said, you're mentally checking out already because you know that that's coming. You're doing your planning secretly, you know, getting documents together, whatever you have to do to get out of there. And you pull your emotional energy back because you need that. And speaking about energy, I feel sorry for him even though he continues to cause me emotional harm. I don't think he's capable of loving someone because deep down he doesn't love themselves. You're right about that. They don't love themselves. That's why they don't have the capability to love us or receive our love. Sometimes I wonder if he is really just autistic, maybe, and we never understood because we all have ADHD, and I think I have autism. 3 tests online said that I do. I have heard that a lot of ADHD symptoms are similar to narcissists, but I think it's more of the patterns. I don't know. I just don't know. My daughter and my son have ADHD. I think I might too, although I've never been officially diagnosed. So I don't know, because my daughter says she does not have empathy, but she's not narcissistic. So I don't know. I can't explain that scientifically or like a doctor because I'm not a doctor, but I have heard that there's similar traits, personality traits that can be narcissistic traits. That doesn't necessarily make them narcissistic, but it doesn't really matter what the label is. The thing is that if someone is abusing you, and that doesn't just have to be physically, if they're abusing your mind, which it's so many people don't understand the abuse emotionally and psychologically. They think if they don't see the bruises, they're not hitting you, they're not screaming, they're not breaking things, you're not in the hospital, you're not bleeding, that they dismiss it. So psychological abuse is so hard to see, and that's why people, if they can't see it, they don't understand it unless they've been in it. But the label, as I said, does not matter. If you are in a relationship where you're being emotionally harmed, where you feel afraid to be yourself or say anything, you're walking on eggshells, that's abusive dynamics. And that's really all that matters here. Like, I talk about narcissistic abuse because they have specific traits and patterns, but you don't have to get a label to put on them, which that's what I tried so hard to do. I tried to get him to go to therapy because I wanted so badly for the therapist to say, yes, you are a narcissist. I am diagnosing you. And I don't know why I did that. I guess for some clarity. Has anybody in here tried to do that? Get their the narcissist to go to therapy to get them diagnosed? Absolutely valid point. I tried to tell 2 doctors and they sent me a letter because I finally had to scream over the nurse that kept talking over me. Yes, they have patterns. And that's a whole other can of worms with medical staff and gaslighting and you having to scream over that nurse that kept talking over you. Yeah, that's a thing. Medical gaslighting and narcissism's everywhere. Telling me they could not see me, I just needed validation. And about validation, and this is so hard. It's a lesson that I have learned recently, and it's a slow process. I just did a video, I think a couple days ago, about validating yourself. We have been so conditioned to reach out to others for validation that we don't know how to give it to ourselves first and foremost. And then I had another video also about forgiveness, where so many people say you have to forgive the narcissist before you can heal. I totally disagree with that. I don't push any of the Shredding Silence community into forgiving the narcissist, because why are we putting them first again when you need to focus on you? When you are healing, it needs to be about you, because we have to really reparent ourselves, learn how to validate ourselves, learn how to talk to ourselves, learn how to forgive ourselves, because we have the outside world and noise saying, well, why didn't you leave? You chose that person. Why didn't you why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why are you still talking about it? Get over it. All that noise that we have to push out, and like we're fighting like this all the time, like Wonder Woman, having to. And then you get where you're so afraid to open up to anybody because there's so much harsh judgment when you get out of these relationships. I think I get moved to the place I want to live out the rest of my life. I would be good. Yeah, my friend and I always talk about that. Somewhere off the grid, have our animals, nice flowing streams and fountains and fish and swings and just peace. Not a lot of neighbors, preferably none. Yes. We can visually go there in our minds, though. and make it happen and make plans. Our healing is possible and having a peaceful life is possible, but I'll tell you what, it's not linear and it's not a fun, clean, smooth journey from point A to point B. But once you get out of the household, being under the same roof as the narcissist, then you can really start healing better than if they're there. I will say that, because you can breathe. It's nice coming home and I have a sink full of dishes. And I remember he used to give me such a hard time about that, and my daughter not doing the dishes because she couldn't, with what she's dealing with. And now I come home, if I don't want to do dishes, I ain't doing the dishes. My former partner was trying to get us to go to couples counseling because I have problems and I didn't know what real love is. As in, I should allow his physical, mental, verbal, and spiritual abuse. Yes, they expect you to dim yourself for their needs, and yours don't matter at all. But that is so not true. Because he thought you were the problem, right? As they always do, he was trying to get you to go to couples counseling because you were the problem. Did you ever go, Katie? Did he ever get you to go? I want to commit to the freaking community and get involved already, watching a church there and looking at homes, ways to start businesses. I know where may being history too. They are dealing with a lot too these days. That's good that you have goals and starting businesses, and it's about you doing what you want to do. Not having to be under their thumb all the time. Focusing on you. Where are we at? Oh, here we go. Everyone's dealing with a bunch. They will say that, but they know. Nope, he wanted me to pay for everything. Wow. Wow, he wanted to go to therapy. He wanted you to go to couples therapy, but he wanted you to pay for everything. They are so backwards. They are so backwards. This is what I wanted to say. When you're still under the same roof, you start quietly preparing, even mentally, saving money, researching your options, building support groups, protecting your peace in small ways, putting on headphones, journaling, limit your conversations, the gray rock, all of that, just conserving your energy. Yes, because it was all your fault. Everything is all our fault, right? It took me and all 3 kids for years. Does that mean 4 years or 4 years? Yeah, and everybody's on their own journey. That's another thing people don't understand when they tell you just to get out. Why don't you just leave? Everybody has their own certain situations. Some people are really seriously afraid for their lives. I wasn't at that point, but it can get there. It can get pretty dangerous when they find out that you're leaving or wanting to leave, and they just lose their crap. And then some of them do the reverse discard. That's what I went through. Like, I had to sever ties with my older daughter because I had to stop the bleeding with generational trauma. And I know that he knew once I had to sever those ties that he was next. But it was a reverse discard. I know he wanted to leave, but a lot of times they don't want to leave because that will make them look bad. Because it's all about the narcissist image. So a reverse discard is when they will do things that they know are going to push you to say, I've had enough of this. And then they look like the victim, right? They look like, well, they kicked me out. He or she kicked me out. Boo-hoo-hoo. And then they go make up their stories and their twisted narrative and then start the whole smear campaign. Many years, different places in Nashville. Yeah, it takes a while to get your life back and build it, but slowly, brick by brick. And sometimes you don't even know that you're healing. I watched a video about that this morning. But if you step back and look at how far you've come, I heard my cat scratching. Is she in the, I didn't open that closet. It sounded like she was scratching the closet. Anyways. See what else. I have to have notes, you guys, because my brain fog is still present. I don't know if brain fog from narcissistic abuse ever goes away, but I'm trying to keep this live on task. I'm still learning. I'm learning how to do lives. I'm learning how to be in front of the camera, which is hard for me because when you make videos, it's different. You can edit them and fix them. With the live, you can't. Well, you can, but when you're live, you're live. It's out there. My breaking point, I talked about that. Okay, this is a reframe. So if you are still stuck there living under the same roof as the narcissist, it doesn't mean you're stuck forever. It means you're in the awareness stage, and awareness is where everything starts to change. When the waters become clearer. I miss the West so much, the rainstorms on the deserts, purplish skies from reddish to blue with mountains and wild horses. Yeah, that sounds beautiful. Cholesterol, meds, sugars, plus carbs cause brain fog too. Yeah. I remember, how many of you here have had brain fog like since you were a child? Has anybody here like grown up in a narcissistic family? Because I remember thinking, wow, I'm done. It makes you feel dumb when you cannot remember. And it's just like, what the hell? Like you have no control over it. And like now, see, this is why I have to have notes right here. Because I remember going through school and I would just forget something. And I knew that I knew it, but it was like right at the tip of my tongue. And it was from the brain fog now. I know because of the dynamics I grew up in my household. Can you guys, any of you guys relate to that? You know, going through school and I want to max it, but I had it. Well, when I dissociated the first time, it was much like brain fog from childhood trauma. Yeah. Brain fog sucks. My friend and I call it brain frog. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. It is so maddening. I get so pissed off. Brain fog is more persistent, I think. But I've heard that, you know, if you do things like puzzles, crossword puzzles, learning a new language, what were the other ones? Learning like a new instrument, learning how to draw, things that get your brain engaged are supposed to kind of diminish that brain fog. Eat beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. Yeah, I need to eat more of my eggs. And bacon. Does it matter if it's turkey bacon? You probably all know all of that. Not necessarily. I welcome anything on here. Like not, and it's good to like be reminded of it too. So share whatever you will, because not everybody, you know, knows. It might be very helpful to someone that goes, oh, I never tried that before. So thank you for that, Robbie. Let's see. So what else about staying if you're still living with the narcissist? Can you guys think of anything else to discuss about this topic? MCTC8 oil. Yes, I've heard about that too. I think I've only taken it a couple times though. I didn't, when I was on the keto diet. Okay, this is a brain fog section. Makes you feel real. So do I feel real to you guys? Because this is me with my brain fog and everything. And I want it to seem like, you know, part of me is thinking, okay, I'm not going to be perfect like these other content creators. They have awesome lives. But I want you guys to relate to me. Like I am healing and learning along with all of you. Gut health is so difficult to deal with while with and well after the separation. Yeah, it takes a while to settle everything down that they just made a mess out of. They cause chaos in more ways than we realize, you know, and your gut health has so much to do with your overall well-being and health. That's why probiotics help too, you know, hydrate yourself, trying to eat as healthy as you can, and regulating your nervous system. Getting more ketones helps me have a greater clarity, including fasting or eating OMAD. What is OMAD? And that's not love. Yep, that's not love. I'm not sure what OMAD is. I have not heard about that. Agree, I'm working on my gut health too. I eat kimchi and sauerkraut. Oh my gosh, my adoptive narcissistic mother used to eat both of those, kimchi and sauerkraut. It's pretty good. I didn't like the sauerkraut, but kimchi is pretty good. She had it every day along with white rice. All right, so I don't know if anybody's in here that still lives with the narcissist, but I wanted to ask again, is anybody here still living with them? Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time? What's the hardest part for you? And you're not crazy. I was looking at stuff today online. Kimchi is pretty good and very good for our gut health, I think. Yes. But a lot of things are. Cabbage, I don't know if that's good for your gut. I know it's good for something. I said today twice. But I remember getting ready to leave the previous relationship when my daughter was younger, having to put things in storage just slowly, because I knew that if I told him I was leaving, he wasn't going to allow that to happen. And he wasn't going to allow me to stay in the house, because you know how they're going to react. So I did not tell him. I slowly put things in storage when he'd go to work, a little bit at a time. I had a little kit that was like a backpack that was ready to go if I had to leave like that. That had important papers, my driver's license, my daughter's birth certificate, social security cards, all of that stuff to get ready. So if I had to leave at a moment's notice, everything was there that I needed. You know, a few pairs of clothes. Everything else can be replaced. Your life, first and foremost, is the most important. So if anybody in here is still stuck living with the narcissist and you are just frozen with fear and afraid to leave, get those things prepared. Get little, hide them if you have to, for your kids, for yourself, the birth certificates, immunizations, social security cards, your driver's license, just important papers that you need, with a couple sentimental things for the kids, that way, if you do have to leave at a moment's notice, you call a shelter, call someone. There are people out there that will help you. And I know it's extremely frightening and scary, but there is help and there is a way out. For anybody that's listening here, and you're still in that situation, just make sure you do that. Just like an emergency, I'm going to leave right now kit. Hope this isn't rude. Kimchi is a traditional Korean fermented vegetable dish packed with probiotic, lactic acid, bacteria, lactobacillus, improves gut health and boosts immunity. It is dangerous. Be safe, ladies, men too. Yes. I had to bring myself back to that. I try to shove down those memories because it happened so long ago, but I have to remind myself that everybody's in a different situation with the narcissist. They're at a different level. Some are still in it. Some are just leaving. Some are just fresh out of it. Some, it's been years and years. They're into the healing journey. So I want this community to be able to have a space for everybody, no matter what stage that you're in. to be able to feel like you can come here and be heard. Even if you don't say anything and you just listen, that's okay too. That's what I want this space to be about for anybody, no matter where you're at. Power of Cabbage is global. Yes, and your sea moss. The sea moss. I can't handle the taste of it by itself, but I mix it in my smoothie so I don't know what's in there. But it's helping me for sure. Anything like that, you guys, any of the health products that everybody's mentioning in here, you know, after you get out. And I wanted to cover also rest and sleep because, you know, from being with the narcissist, they disrupt your sleep. They either do things on purpose so you cannot sleep, or you will be so upset and then they go to sleep and snore because nothing that you're going through matters. They do not care if you're laying there crying. They will go to sleep like that. Or disrupt your sleep so you can't sleep. Or you have nightmares because your body is trying to tell you, we're in danger here, you need to get out. The sleep. Or they make you feel, maybe make you feel guilty for sleeping. So when you're out of it, getting rest is so important because healing takes a lot out of you, emotionally, mentally, all of that stuff. So give yourself grace and get the rest that you can. You know, it's so important because it's exhausting going through all this stuff and the triggering memories. You know, you see something or, oh man, my light's going out. I wish I could get rid of this binge watch thing. Do you guys see that still? Sorry, you guys. I am an amateur at this live thing, so please forgive my clumsiness and learning. Who knows, I may get involved in helping people like this someday. Have a nice day and stay safe. Yes, they will even wake you up and violate your boundaries. Yes. Thank you for joining us, Robbie. Stay safe, and you're always welcome back here. Know this is a safe space for all survivors. I hear my cat again. Cats like to hide in the weirdest places, I swear. Okay, let me put this back on so you guys can see my light. That'd be great if you could help other people. We need to spread the word. We need to spread the word for other people out there that are they're asleep still and they're unaware, they don't understand narcissistic abuse and how really insane it can be. You know, because they say, oh, it's just a relationship. It's not just a relationship. It's a whole other can of worms. They have no boundaries. It is truly sad for them also. Yes. Or they purposely physically abuse while you're sleeping, claiming they didn't know what they were doing. Oh my gosh. That happened to you, Katie? And then you're afraid to go to sleep because you don't know what the hell they're doing. So you're like sleeping with one eye open. It's wild what they do. It is very crazy. All right, so what else could we talk about in here? Let's see. I'm tired, you guys. I'm sorry. And along with the brain fog, there is so much going on right now. You have no idea. Just about like in all of your lives, I'm sure that, you know, life is crazy in itself. And then you trying to navigate healing from something like this is, it's just exhausting. Like, does anybody in here just always feel tired? No matter how much sleep you get, you just always feel tired. That's their plan. Cognitive dissonance is the name of their game. Yes, to disorient you and to get you to doubt your reality because you are more malleable and easy to manipulate and control. And then, let's talk about this too, that even though you might be living with a narcissist, how, you know, they all have double lives, that they're It's just insane the way they operate. They all have double lives. They can be married, have children, because that's their persona that they put out for people. Oh, I'm a married man or a married woman, and I have a family, and I have a house, and I work, and I go home every night. Doesn't matter if you go home every night. They all still find a way to get with other supply, even while you're living under the same roof. I don't want anything bad to happen to anyone that I love, but I know they have very difficult times eventually. I wake up in a good mood, but yes, I get tired. I drink coffee all day long. I definitely wouldn't be able to sleep if I drank coffee all day long. But welcome anybody, whoever's watching in the background. Welcome to Shredding Silence. We're talking about if you're still living with a narcissist. Anybody's welcome to come on here, share your story, ask questions. Never mind about that, about he. I hope he is well. You're better than me with that, because I don't wish those things. To be honest, I don't wish good things on the ex-narcissist. And people will give me a lot of flack for that, but that's just who I am, and I am not going to dim myself for anybody about how I feel. I'm not saying everybody has to feel that way, but that is how I feel. And that goes with the forgiveness as well. I don't feel like you have to forgive the narcissist in order to heal. That can maybe come down later, because when you leave a narcissist, that fear, not the fear, the anger, oh my gosh, the anger is there, and you have every right to feel anger. And then you come along with the, wishing, like the revenge, wishing the bad things would happen to them, and you get a lot of flack for that. Well, you shouldn't wish bad things on other people, but I'm telling you, it is normal, and it is okay to feel that way, because you have been violated, you have been deceived for so long. When you were in it for real, that's going to piss off anybody. So don't deny yourself of being angry. It is a normal part of leaving a narcissist, and I still get anger sometimes. Yeah, it's beyond Hulk anger. You have every right to be angry for loving someone genuinely, trying, keep on loving them more, loving them harder, trying this, trying that, when they're moving the bar, knowing what they are doing on purpose and repeating it while telling you they love you. That is going to piss you off. You are human. You're allowed to be pissed off. If you have revenge thoughts, that's human too, because your brain is trying to find some justification for all the shit that they did to you. And it doesn't mean you're a violent person or that you're going to go out and do something to them to wind up in prison for. It's just a normal part of the healing process. And mine comes and goes. Like, it's less than it was before. But when you start getting memories coming back and remembering things like, oh, and you have names for them, or you hear somebody else, another survivor, talk about that, you get pissed off. And it's okay to be pissed off. You're not a bad person for being pissed off. You are okay to be human. They made you feel like you cannot be human. You're not allowed to feel. You're not allowed to be hurt. You're not allowed to be upset because they cheated on you or lied or whatever they did to you. And that is complete bullshit. So it is okay to not forgive them. It is okay to have revengeful thoughts. You're not going to act out on them. It is a part of the process. You invest your everything to be betrayed and violated. Yes, and anybody's going to be pissed off for that. Allow yourself to be human. Allow yourself the grace to be human. It's okay. Don't let anybody shame you into forgiving them or making you think that you're not going to heal because you're not forgiving the narcissist. No, put yourself first now. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for staying so long. Forgive yourself for not seeing the signs sooner. Forgive yourself for giving them the benefit of the doubt one too many times because you did not know. You were in a trauma bond. There was cognitive dissonance. They were annihilating your mind. Nobody can think clearly under those dynamics. Yes, and they even plan it. Hi, Erin. Welcome. Where are you from, and are you living under the same roof with a narcissist or trying to get out? That this whole podcast, live is about today. Sorry, not podcast. That's what the whole live is about today. Talking about what it's like still living with a narcissist, trying to get out, you know, how to deal with them, using gray rock. Sorry, you guys. See, you're seeing me live. I'm still fucked up from this shit. I have the brain fog. I have all of it. I trip over my words. You know, when I make my videos for YouTube and TikTok, you can edit that stuff out. But this, you got me live and real right here. Because I'm going through this shit with you guys. Healing's no joke, man. It's not pretty. It's not nice and neat in a little package. Hi from Tennessee. Forgive yourself. They just receive energy from all of your feelings. Yep. So when you're still in the dynamics, living in the same household as a narcissist, you must preserve your energy. We were talking about that earlier, you know, because they're going to try to poke you and get you to react because that is their fuel. I let 3 careers go to be a single father for 10 years, but I would probably do that again. And then I figured out that when it began, she did not want me to grow, and I was about to hit pay, and then it cut you off. And they don't want you to, they don't want you to grow and change and evolve. Does it have to be a narcissist? No, it can be, there doesn't have to be a label, Erin. Anytime you feel your environment is unsafe or you can't be who you are or you're walking around on eggshells, let's get rid of the label completely. If you're living in an environment where you do not feel safe to be who you are and your nervous system is always at a heightened state, no, it doesn't have to be about narcissist. Abuse is abuse. Or feeling like you're being abused, or feeling like, you know, something is wrong, something is off here. Your body knows before your brain does. I am still living with him, worrying about when the next rage will come, and just like that, he will rage and then forget the next day and act like nothing happened. Yeah, they have selective memory, don't they? So what are you doing to keep yourself safe from that right now? F-E-L-A, fella. What do you do when those rages happen? You can never be seen as better than them. Mine's in the past. I'm still healing from it. That's good, Erin. I'm glad that you're healing from it and you're out of those toxic dynamics. You know, and eventually I'm going to get to where I can get people on here to talk live, you know, so you guys can kind of be involved more instead of texting. Sometimes it's nice to hear other people's voices, but forgive me, have patience with me. This is only, I think, maybe my 3rd or 4th live on YouTube, so I'm trying to figure out how everything works on here. I was used to going live on TikTok. So this is a whole new world for me, but this community will grow and I will learn as time goes by. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I have to run to the bathroom real quick because when you get older, your bladder gets smaller. So I will be right back. 14, when I got out of it, reminded me to make the best choices. All right, I will be right back. Number 4 live. Thank you, Katie. Sorry I don't have Bun to keep you busy right now while I take a break real quick. Intermission. And I don't know if there's a way to put on like a commercial or like some of my videos when I step away from a live like this, but I'm learning, as I said, as I go. Let's see, I'm trying to prepare myself financially to leave, building up my checking and savings. That's awesome. And earlier I was talking about that. I don't know if you were in here. And then, you know, I don't know if you have young kids living with you, but get all the important papers together. I'm sure you know this. I just want to put it out there again in case someone here doesn't know and they're trying to leave, get a little backpack or a little, envelope with your important papers, birth certificate, social security cards, your driver's license, anything that you need like that, and put it in a backpack, anything sentimental. So if you do have to leave at a moment's notice on an emergency, you're ready to go. Everything else can be replaced, but your life cannot. If your life is at risk, just put that aside for emergency, just in case, because you never know what these guys are capable of. These narcissists or people that they just go into a rage like that. Was writing songs with friends, with several songs playing already on CMT in nursing school. Almost able to start my own martial arts school. Ooh, martial art. Maybe 1 year from being able to working on movies. And then what happened? She threw a wrench in that. Be sure to keep a diary secret but informative. It'll help for future cases in your mental health. Yes, and Katie knows about that. She has a whole story about that. And it helped her. So yes. When they hit 12, 13, and 14, I was like, nope, I cannot leave them alone in downtown Nashville. Best years of my life, probably, but very difficult to definitely just watch the news. Yeah, I'm sorry that she did that. Narcissists destroy everything, and they leave it for us to pick up all the broken pieces. So I pretty much lost everything as well. Family, job, everything. They just go around like a wrecking ball, just destroying people. And I don't know if you guys saw, my friend Katie told me about the upcoming documentary called The Narcissist Playbook. If you guys have not watched that trailer, oh my gosh, it will give you chills down your spine. What Sam Vaknin has to say, what Dr. Romney has to say, self-aware narcissist Lee Hammock is on it. Richard Grennan, I think he's got a PhD, doesn't he? He's a psychologist. I don't think he's a narcissist. He educates on narcissism. Well known on YouTube, social media. Just the trailer alone. I wish they'd give us a date on that, though. I don't know when it's coming out, because I think I would like to do a live on that after and see. Had 36 credits. Wow, you were almost there. And just psych. See, we're going a little bit over an hour, 136 total. Narcs prefer to leave you dead if possible. They love to keep your ashes as a trophy. Oh, that's so morbid. So morbid. But that's how they are. My daughter's fear was that he was going to off us. And I used to think, no, he'd never do that, because there's different levels of narcissism, but don't ever doubt what they are capable of. And don't think that you know them, because you really don't. You really don't. It's so scary what they're capable of. I have a sister that has my brothers, and I have not decided if it's for the correct reason. She got custody of them. It's not my decision, but she was there. Yes, it is a long story. It isn't what, Katie? You know how I get lost? I forgot what we were talking about 2 seconds ago. You got brain fog in live action right now. Heat warning. There's a heat warning. It just popped up on my computer. For his other siblings to keep all the ashes. I wonder if there's a way, if I start messing with these buttons, would anybody be interested in coming on here and talking? Do you have any advice for someone that's trying to deal with past trauma? I'll tell you what I am doing for it. First of all, I know that trauma is stored in our bodies. Remember when I said earlier that your body is going to know before your brain does. So one of the things that I've been doing lately is, and it seems really weird at first, because when you see the videos and how people are moving, you're like, what the heck is going on? And this was a part of when I got suggested to the ex-narcissist that I was with most recently for 7 years. I've been out like 14 months now. Got him to join a men's group. And one of the things they were doing was moving their bodies. And they would growl like a bear. And I thought, what the heck? This seems so silly. What is this about? What it's about is getting yourself back into your body, because they think so much up here. And this is where all the stress and everything's up here. And then the trauma and stress lives in your body. So getting it out is part of trauma. Getting that trauma out of your body by moving it, shaking, the cold, how they have the cold dips or whatever, the people have the pools. You don't even have to do that. Just have a bowl of water with ice in it and stick your hands in there, and it's going to ground you and bring you back into your body. And then when you shake it out, you're getting all of that trauma, all the stress out of your body, just moving. I thought about I'm probably going to start doing videos like this eventually, like a healing session, moving, getting your body moving, shaking it, yelling, punching things, things that don't break, or no people. I know it's tempting sometimes. But punching a bag, punching a pillow, screaming into a pillow, turning on a song, just dancing however. You're not dancing for exact movements, just however your body wants to go, just move it. Okay, let me catch up on she listed me as son-in-law after I took care of our mom for 5 years, sat with her alone as she died. I guess it was her. I'm actually sleepy. Listen to your body, Robbie. If you can go to sleep, sleep. Don't ignore that. And I'm sorry that you went through that. That sounds very rough. How long did it take you to prepare practically before leaving? Housing, finances, etc.? Well, if you're talking about the last relationship with the narcissist I was with for 7 years, I think mentally I was preparing to leave for a while. I don't even know why I let him move in with me to begin with, because we were together 6 years, and then he lived long distance, and I had him move in. I think he was here about a year, maybe a year and a few months, and I couldn't take it anymore. And I thought, if you're going to live with me, if there's any kind of future, I got him to take the course, but he was just going through the motions, and I set the boundaries with him, and he violated those. And at that point, he was doing things like he would still pretty much take women's clothes off with his eyes in front of me all the time. He'd be staring out our window down at the pool, undressing them with his eyes, and just disrespect like that. And anytime I'd leave the house, I knew he was doing something, because the house he should have had the whole house clean by the time I got back. I'd be gone for a handful of hours. I'm like, you did nothing around here, because they always have second lives. They always have their supply. And I was done. I just decided the one morning we were going to work, and he threw the keys at me. He said, here's the keys to your fucking truck. And I said, that's it. Get your stuff and get out. So luckily it was my house. I didn't have to find a place to live, but everybody's journey is different. It's going to be different for all of you. Like, some of you have to find a place to live. Some of you have to try to get them out because they don't want to leave. It just all depends. And right now I'm telling you, even though it saved my soul, it's hard financially, because you have to have more than one income nowadays with the way, economy is. It's scary, and that's what keeps a lot of people stuck. So it's just a lot of, the planning, preparing yourself mentally, financially, you know, trying to get the support that you can, reach out for programs out there. It takes a while. Exercise your body, shake it out, exercise your mind, really release your emotions. What makes it so hard too is that he will attack one day and then the next pretend like nothing happened. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they get amnesia for sure. Yeah, like nothing happened. They could cheat on you the night before and the next day it's like, it didn't happen. I think that was therapeutic was boxing and martial arts. I'm certain it was. Oh, definitely. Inguinal hernia. I'm not able to be as active until I have it fixed next month. Nervous about that. Oh, I understand that I would be nervous too. But yeah, martial arts. I used to do Muay Thai. That's excellent for getting all of that out of your body. That sounds like it would help. I hope so, Erin. As empaths due to childhood trauma, we unknowingly try to keep people close to protect them, even if they're cruel to us. Been single a long time, and I'm okay with that at the moment. I am looking at jobs to supplement my income. I enjoy walking miles a day, unable to at the moment. It's good. It's good to find things, little things in life that we enjoy that, you know, that we weren't allowed or not able to do when we were with them. You know, making this all about yourself, and the fact that you're okay with being single is a really good sign that you're healing, you're coming along in the process, because so many people stay single. I mean, they stay in the narcissistic relationship because they're afraid to be alone. That was me for a long time. How many of you in here felt like that? Like, because the narcissist will say, well, you're never going to find anybody else. Nobody else is going to want you, or you're lucky to have me. You know, their mentality is insane, how they think like that. So they get you to believe that sometimes, like, you know, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe no one else will want me. And that is a lie. That's one of the many lies that they tell you. I think it could help anyone. Really trying to remove on from my trauma childhood. I was 14 years old when my grandparents adopted me. I can relate to that. I was adopted too, Erin, as a baby, but I wasn't told till I was 16, and that does something to you. That really does. It does. People think that adoption is so wonderful, and they don't know the trauma that goes with that. They really don't. And I this is in the future of my channel too, because I do have a tab on my videos about adoption trauma, but I have so little hours during the day. I wish that this was my full-time job, because I have so much I want to do with this channel, and adoption is one of those things, adoption trauma. The narc ensures that their victims are addicted to them. It does. Life is complicated and difficult. Yeah, we just got to do the best that we can, you know, but not having a narcissist in your life sure makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? Like, I would much rather be single than to ever be with a narcissist again. How many here are okay with being single? Because the narcissist does so much damage, and your intuition, your skills at smelling them and seeing them from miles away becomes razor sharp. Yes, life is unpredictable. Even more so if you're with a narcissist, though. You too, 100%. But your peace, you guys, I think you know as well as I do that your peace is so precious, and you want to protect it at all cost. After you get out of a narcissistic abusive relationship, you don't tolerate shit anymore. You can't tolerate things from anybody anymore. You know, you stop chasing, you stop explaining. You know, people that have made their mind up to misunderstand you, they have no place in your life, because you've been there, done that. They take so much out of you that you have zero tolerance. Yes, peace. And you deserve that peace. We all deserve that peace. And if people in your life cannot bring you peace, if they disrupt your peace, then they've got to go. And it's painful because it's people that you love, family, grandchildren, aunts or uncles, grandparents, whoever it is. It's painful. It's painful to cut those people off, but you have to cut off. I think of gangrene. Like you've got a hand that's got gangrene on it. It's got to go. What else? I'm ready to become a hermit somewhere, but that is not healthy either. Yeah, you still have to kind of associate with people at some point, not living totally alone, but you can have control over how much access people have to you and at what level. When you set up those healthy, strong boundaries, it's going to weed those people out. Like that video I did on when I set up a boundary and they pretty much disqualified themselves. That's cool when they do the work for you, because boundaries, narcissist and toxic people do not like people with boundaries. It's like a deterrent. It's repellent, and you want that. That's a good thing. It's like living in pinball machine when a narc enters your life. Yes, and to live the way I want to live. Things that are important to me are not important to them. Yes, this is when everything is about you. You have to come first for once. And I don't mean that in a selfish way. It means nurturing yourself, doing things that you enjoy, relaxing, and, just finding hobbies, things that you want to do for once. Because everything was the narcissist was up here on the platter. And where were you? Down here. You weren't thought of. Plan on living in an area where I can spend time in several towns. That's a good plan. Being a hermit is essential. Think of it as solitude, not isolation. Yes, there's a difference. I actually made a shirt about that. It's in my store. In the link in my bio. There is healing in solitude. Solitude is a choice. You are choosing your environment. You are choosing who is allowed into your life, who is allowed to your energy, into your space. In isolation, you have walls up. You are not allowing anybody in. In solitude, you choose who comes in. And I didn't know that difference before. Did you guys know that difference? Because a lot of people think solitude is cutting everybody off, but it's actually a filter. And thank you for the hearts. It's a filter. It's a choice. You have the power and control of who you allow into your life and at what level. There is healing in solitude. They did not grow up where I grew up, so they did not understand, because it has all been about everything but that for 45 years. I'm trying to get some family to move out there to even him. Boundaries. I hope that all works out for you, Robbie. And yes, boundaries. If people cannot take a simple no is a complete sentence. If someone does not like that, then they are not worth letting in, because you filter. You're not building walls, you are filtering. And if someone can't honor no, and you don't even have to explain the no, that is a complete sentence. If they cannot honor that and respect that, then they don't get to go through. They don't get to filter through. They can filter out. Yes, boundaries. Because as children, we aren't taught the boundaries. Do you remember? Okay, this brings back a memory. Do you remember growing up and you were forced to hug a family member? Like, oh, hug Auntie Jane. And you don't want to hug Auntie Jane, but you are forced to hug Auntie Jane. So right from the get-go, your boundaries are being violated. You're being taught that it's not okay to stand up for myself. My body is not my own. I have to do something that I don't want to do because I have to please this adult or that adult. You're always managing somebody else's emotions. And now we have to learn that. We have to parent ourselves. And it's okay. It's okay to tell someone you do not want to be touched. I do not want to hug you. No, you cannot call me. No, you cannot have my number. It's just learning, having to reparent ourselves the way we should have been parented in the first place, but our parents didn't have the tools. So we have to learn them now, right? Reparenting yourself. And it's scary too. This is why a lot of people are stuck living under the same roof. Not necessarily even a narcissist. It's just toxic dynamics where people just accept that the situation that they're in because they think it's not going to get better, or they're too afraid to be alone, or they can't afford life financially. There's so many reasons people stay stuck. And it's sad. If they can't respect your needs, always return their energy and walk away. Yes, return to sender. Absolutely. We've gone for too long, shrinking ourselves to make somebody else comfortable. Our energy is ours now. Not everybody's entitled to that. They think they are. A lot of people think they're entitled to your energy, and they're not. Decades. Discuss the power of the Cheshire Cat. When you're still living with a narcissist or in the toxic dynamics, Katie? What, just that smile of you just don't give them the energy? You just kind of do that? If I can figure out how to get somebody on here where you can actually talk. Is anybody interested in talking on here? I know there's a way where you can have people on the screen. You can either block out your face. You don't have to show your face, and you could just hear their voice. But I don't know how to do it. Oops. Okay, that was cutting off the camera, so you cannot see. What is this? 49-second short was uploaded to your channel. Oh, okay. I'm learning things. What is this? Green screen. Okay, now I know how to do a green screen. I'm learning with you guys. I talk a lot. That's a sticker. That's to turn. I have no idea how to get people on here. Top fans. Okay, let's get rid of the green screen. No green screen. Oh. This is cool. Okay, I'm figuring things out so I can make my lives a little more interesting in the future. How to post things in the green screen in the background. Where is that trailer? I thought I had a... Sorry, you guys. Let's see. I will sometimes, maybe. I am like sleepy without a shirt on. Desperately need to work out, but no body fat. I'll give you some of mine. I'll just describe myself, LOL. I'll give you my body fat. And you know, like, when you're so stressed out being with a narcissist, when you're stressed like that, your body holds on to the cortisol, and then that holds on to fat, the stress. So I will gladly donate. I don't know how to get rid of this binge thing. What is this? Lighting on. Okay. Lighting off. I don't know, you guys. It is strange how narcissists are so much alike. Yes, because, hi Siberian Dreams, welcome in. They all play from the same playbook. And I was just talking about the new documentary coming up. I don't know what the release date is, but in my latest videos, I have the link in my description and the bio about how they talk about they all play from the same playbook. They love to ruin your self-body image. Yes, they do. And they make you feel like you're always in competition. Like you could be Miss America or Mr. America with the perfect body, their perfect type that the narc talks about, and they will still cheat on you. And you won't be good enough. Nobody is good enough for a narcissist ever. They will always live double lives. Always live double lives. Even if they live under the same roof with you, they will find a way to cheat on you. Always. You can count on it. I have been able to get much healthier, I hope. Yes, it is the lack of empathy that is stunning. Yes, and he just dropped off his 21-year-old dog with no eye, and he had not checked on him once because they don't care. They don't care about people. They don't care about dogs. They don't care about their own children. They don't care about anything. All they care about is themselves and getting supply and getting an emotional rise out of people and having that sense of power and control. Still trying to deal with my severe trauma relive to my mind. So Aaron, try that, moving it out of your body, meditation. I know for a lot of people that aren't used to that, it seems kind of silly, but it does help you. And breathing, visualization, tapping, humming helps to calm your vagus nerve. Dude, I weighed 320 when I was prescribed oxycodone and drinking alcohol. I never cheated on anyone, even had a beautiful young lady actually try and get me to buy. I would not even once. Exercise. My first love did. Okay, I'm getting people's confused. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up, you guys. Yes, with your childhood trauma, and part of that, moving the trauma out of your body, just dancing, shaking it out, punching a pillow, screaming. I turn on Linkin Park every day on the way to work and on the way home. I turn up the music to 40, no minimum than 40, and I scream the lyrics, and I feel so much better after. It's how I start my day, it's how I end my day, and you'd be surprised how much that helps you. Just getting everything out, shaking, hugging yourself, brushing your own hair, stroking your skin, like massaging your face. It works all of that trauma out of your body. Breathing. And then after that, breathing will be easier because when your adrenaline is so high, breathing doesn't work. I need exercise for sure. It's all over YouTube. You don't even have to go to a gym. Just look up something on YouTube and start to exercise. Even if it's small, some taking walks, just baby steps. Think of Disney's Monster Inc., but ramp it up detrimentally. Disney's Monster Inc. What do you mean by that, Katie? Neither one of us knew what was a healthy relationship. I like Linkin Park, got to build their stage once. Oh my God, that's so cool. And Metallica. Metallica is my favorite. Look at my Metallica tattoo. Metallica is my favorite. And Linkin Park. You got to build their stage. So did you, Limp Bizkit, did you get to hang around and listen to the concert and watch the concert, Robbie? Lucky. I thought about driving a truck because I have a CDL, about doing those tour, buses for bands, but I cannot do that. I can't be staying out overnight for days and weeks at a time. I sat on stage with Metallica. Lucky. So what's James like? Backstage, all access passes everywhere, always. That is so cool. That is so cool. Music is a lifesaver. I don't think I would have been able to stick through the healing process as much as I have without music. Can you guys relate to that? And we don't always have to like the same music. Music is music for anybody, whatever your genre is. My legs are hurting. Wish I could get rid of this binge watch thing. I don't know what the hell that is. It won't go away. Binge watch answer. Monsters Inc. was about imaginary friends stealing children's energy for their life betterment. Yeah. Yeah, that's what narcissists do. They steal our energy for their betterment. He was pretty cool, very nice, wanting to take care of the crowd and to not be too rough on kids in the mosh pit or climbing on stage. I almost died at a Metallica concert, my very first Metallica concert. And I wish James would have saved me. I had to be crowd surfed out of there. So we were pretty close to the stage. And once Metallica came on, The stage kind of, the crowd went like this. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I was about ready to pass out, and they got me out of there. It sucked because then we had to go stand somewhere else. Yeah, didn't mean to get off topic, but music, I'm telling you, music is so healing. And it's funny, I've seen videos about this where people say, you should probably listen to some calming music so you can, relax. But loud music is the way some of us heal. Turn it loud, scream the lyrics. All right, so yeah, so music's part of, the healing thing. But when you're in the narcissistic relationship, and especially if you live with them, it is hard to heal inside those toxic dynamics. But music can be some of the way. If you can put on your earphones, because heavy metal makes me feel alive, and then I want to dance. Absolutely. I like all kinds of music, though. Yeah, it depends on your mood, right? Same here. Like, heavy metal is the go-to genre, but it depends on mood. Like, oldies are nice, classical is nice. Country, I don't know, that reminds me of the ex. So I can't really stomach country right now. It triggers too much. But yeah, a little bit of eclectic is good. It's so healing. It can change your mood like that. Like, even Mexican music, what is that one? Gasolina. I put it on. I'll have Alexa when I'm cooking. I'll have her put on. There was this one song. I forgot the name of it now because I'm trying to learn a little bit of Spanish. And I started getting into it. I was in a bad mood. I was trying to cook dinner. I was stressed out. And you just put the music on, and it starts, you start feeling lighter. You start dancing a little bit, and it's great. Music is therapy. I had some really, really bad stuff happen to me. How do you deal with flashbacks from childhood trauma? I just acknowledge that they happen. You tell yourself that you did not deserve that. You were a child. You didn't know. You were operating out of survival mode, just like a lot of us do with narcissistic abuse. You were surviving the best that you knew how. And now you just tell yourself that you're safe. You didn't deserve all that. And just be gentle with yourself. You have to kind of reparent yourself because a lot of us didn't have healthy parents growing up. Generational trauma is real, and it's no joke. You're actually half Hispanic. Yeah, the guys that I work with, they're trying to teach me Spanish, but they're trying to teach me bad words. I'm like, you're going to get me fired. Be careful what you teach me. I'm not going to repeat it until I know what you're saying. It takes time. Time is our best healer. You can get cognitive therapy and EMDR therapy. I had both. Yeah, I've tried those as well. Love music loud, but after the narc experience, I had to turn it way down. The scream was all day, every day. Well, now if you don't live with them, turn that shit up, girl. Turn that shit up. Yeah. And different things work for different people. Some people don't, it's hard to find a good therapist, and it's not cheap. I started it. But now the whole insurance thing is taking so long, and figuring out the copay. And I talk to ChatGPT a lot. ChatGPT helps me, and it's free. And I can talk to ChatGPT at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and don't have to pay for it. And that's how I deal with it. The music, ChatGPT, journaling. Some people don't like to journal. If you have the notes in your phone, you can verbally leave a note of how you feel. Coloring, dancing, music, a new hobby, learning a new language. My neighbors probably hear me on some days and think I am the narc. I get angry too easy, Probably need anger management now. I watch the show all the time. What show? And like I said before, when you get out of a toxic, narcissistic, abusive relationship, it's easy to get angry. You build up anger when you're not seen. When you try to make somebody understand things, you tell them like a million different ways, hoping that this time they'll understand. Yeah, it pisses you off. You're going to get angry. But that's when you have to get all of that out of your body, you know, do the exercising, do the just waving your, look like a crazy person, like you're kicking the air or something, you know, put on some music and just dance around, punch a pillow. Eye color. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was your therapist? I didn't know he did therapy. I like, or you mean watching him? His movies and stuff? I like both peaceful and loud music, anger management, and and funny movies. Funny, just like not having to think about mindless movies like Napoleon Dynamite. You know, the anger management one with what's his name? Not Billy Madison. That's his Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler, and that movie is so funny. Message retracted. Oh, why'd you take that out? No on anger management, the show. Oh, anger management, the show. Yeah, I think I've seen it a couple times. I don't ever watch TV anymore. Honestly, I don't have cable. I just watch YouTube and Netflix, mostly YouTube. But yeah, just mindless stuff, just laughing and not having to think about anything. Let's see, we're at 96 minutes. You guys have a lot of good ideas right here for just, you know, getting out of your mind, get back into your body, grounded, and I can identify with some of the people. What are the people that you can identify with on that show? Sexual trauma is devastating, but can be overcome. Start by acknowledging it, who did it, and who allowed it, and why it was not okay. Yes, and that it was not your fault. It's never your fault. His patience. You relate to his patience? Going over my notes again, you guys, to make sure we stay on track with this topic here, because when people look up this live, eventually I'll find a way to edit these. But I am learning. I am learning in real time. Absolutely, that is why I left home at 12, not my dad. Wow, 12, that is so young. No, we have to parent ourselves as young children and even adults. Yeah, I remember running away a lot. And how many of you ran away from home? Even from the narcissist? Did you run away? Did you have to escape? I moved in with an older brother and sister and had my own place by 17, thanks to my dad helping me to get a few jobs. That's good. I'm glad your brother and sister and your father was there for you, and he helped you get jobs. So you moved out from your mother's house? You were living with your mom, Robbie? It's like teaching yourselves. You should have been taught how to calm yourself down, make decisions without second guessing everything, how to feel safe. Just because you have a nice smile and are breathing does not mean you are open to being violated at their convenience. Yes, exactly. They're not entitled to that. They're not entitled to your body. Still made it into a university. Good for you. And Robbie, did you do better? Like, if you, I'm assuming you were living with your mom when you were going through like elementary school and high school and stuff like that. Did you find that your grades were better once you got out of those dynamics? Because when I left and I went to college to get my associate's degree, I did extremely well when I wasn't under those dynamics. I got on the national dean's list for both those years, and you're able to focus so much more. So, what was that experience like for you? Yep, growing up too fast. And now you're trying to go and give yourself what you never got growing up as a child. And when getting out of the narcissistic abusive relationship. When we were all together as a family, it was best. Life at home was never the same again, and that is what I'm trying to get back to heal. Narcs dislike your availability to be an independent thinker. Absolutely. They don't want you to think for yourself. They want you to be a sheep and just, go with the flow. They like you disoriented and confused. So when you have to reparent yourself and you realize that all your relationships were abusive, toxic, because you grew up in those dynamics as a child, reparenting yourself, learning emotional regulation, learning boundaries, learning self-worth, learning to rest without guilt, learning to trust yourself. Which one of those is the hardest for you guys? Learning to trust yourself, rest without guilt, learning self-worth, boundaries, emotional regulation. 100% C. So we didn't fail at life. We just didn't get the support that we needed and deserved. Growing up in the toxic households and with narcissistic abusive relationships and dynamics, even toxic, doesn't necessarily always have to have the label of narcissism. Abuse and toxicity is abuse and toxicity. All narcs prefer to keep you as a cute dolly on their trophy shelf so that they can play with at their convenience. Absolutely. Yep, and they rotate it. They think that you're their property and you'll always come back to them. And they will always pop up, pop, 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 and they will test you. They'll test the waters. They'll send you a text message out of nowhere or show up at your door. Hey, I cared about you. I'm thinking about you. I miss you. It's all bullshit. Don't fall for it. They're just testing the waters if you're going to come back, if they still have access to you. And self-worth, yeah. Self-worth is the most challenging thing for you to learn. Having to parent yourself, reparent yourself. Because they lied. We were lied to as children. If you grew up in those dynamics and you believe it. You believe it because these two people that are supposed to be your parents are making you feel all this stuff. The place and those memories are part of my journey. All are still challenging. I try not to violate anyone's boundaries. I hope that I don't. I have had problems protecting my boundaries, though. Robbie, and I feel you on that because it's like muscle memory. It's like learning first and foremost to sit in silence and listen to your thoughts and filter all the noise out that the world gives you, that people and their opinions give you, what they think you should do, and just listening to yourself for once. Sitting in silence. I stress this, I think, on every live, that it's important that you sit in silence every day with yourself, even if it's a few minutes, and don't use your phone, don't watch TV, don't do anything. Just sit there and you can start to hear your own thoughts, because paying attention to your thoughts is going to help you with discernment, boundaries, listening to your intuition, like how somebody makes you feel. If they make you feel a certain kind of way, you sit in silence and you dissect that whole conversation, and you can start to see things and put puzzles together. And oh, that person said that, and that's how this made me feel, and that's how I'm gonna respond versus reacting to it. So let me get I feel worthless and like a piece of trash all the time. You gotta listen to those voices in your head, Aaron, and you have to tell them that they are lying to you, because they are lying to you. It's what you were conditioned over your lifetime to made to believe about yourself, and they are lies. You are not a worthless piece of shit or trash. You're not that. And the thing that goes with self-worth and boundaries, they go hand in hand, because every time you stand up for yourself, no matter how small it is, you will start to build that self-worth and self-respect a little bit at a time. And then it becomes like muscle memory. The more that you do it and the more that you exercise those healthy boundaries, you will become more confident, and you will feel a change and a shift in yourself. You are not a piece of trash. And if you can, look at yourself in the mirror and say that to yourself. Whether you believe it or not, you are not a piece of trash. And then pick one small thing that you did that day. Look at, I am not a piece of trash. I am a loving person. I did this earlier to that person to lift them up for a good reason, not out of manipulation the way the narcissist does. Just something little, an accomplishment. I am not a piece of trash. I am worthy. I'm a worthy, loving human being. Self-worth is so hard to achieve when you were never taught to like, appreciate, and love yourself in the first place. Yes, absolutely have to do before we can be grounded. To be self-aware of our thoughts and our emotions. No, absolutely, you're amazing, I am sure. Yes, you all are amazing. None of us are pieces of shit. We're not going around trying to destroy people, knowing what we're doing and destroying people. They're the pieces of shit. The narcissist. Write that down. Put it on the wall and read it every day. Yes. Yes, and be gentle to yourself. Be gentle to yourself. Like, would you tell your child or any young child or another person that they're a piece of shit? Let's remove the narcissists and toxic people, because they are. But a child, an innocent child, a stranger on the street, a best friend, would you talk to them like that and say they're worthless? You have to learn to be your own best friend. And I have if you go to the video tabs on my videos, there's a video on there on how to be your best friend, because we have to learn how to talk to ourselves. The chitter chatter in your brain, it's like it's on autopilot. So that's why, like, when I tell you to sit in silence, to listen to your thoughts and slow down, say, hey, wait a minute, what did I just say about myself? And you have to replace that. It takes work, but it'll be muscle memory, and that'll be automatic thoughts after a while. I can't sit by myself. Why, Aaron? What happens when you sit by yourself? Is it the environment that you're in, or it's hard for you because you don't like the thoughts that come up? Negative chatter. You allow someone else's opinion to live rent-free in your mind. Never allow yourself or anyone else to dim your light. Yes, that's one of my sayings. Never allow others to dim your light. Oh, I am or have been isolated. I would not talk to a dog like that. Nope. Yeah, you wouldn't talk to your pets like that either. You have to have the same grace for yourself, Aaron. Oh, my back hurts. I agree totally, because that is all they are trying to do. Yep. Never let others dim your light, and always choose yourself. And it's a foreign concept, because if you've gone your whole life like that, and you've been under the same roof with a narcissist, and they're used to making you feel a kind of way, even if they don't verbally say, like, you're worthless, or you're a piece of shit, or you're not good enough, they don't necessarily have to say that. The actions that they do that show you disrespect, Like, you know, flirting with other people in front of you, like taking off their clothes in front of you. That's ultimate disrespect. That makes you feel worthless, but you're not. You know, you don't deserve that. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. That was my first session with my therapist. She said it's essential for me to love myself before anything else. Yes, because if we don't love ourselves, we wind up with people like toxic narcissists and manipulative people that just want to use us. So part of loving yourself is having those boundaries and talking to yourself in a very loving way. It's okay to be human. That's one thing we have to accept, because a narcissist doesn't like the fact that you are human. Just for the fact that you have feelings and you're human, they don't like that. Then watch over the years to see what bothers you, but we see their patterns too eventually. Yeah. It's okay to be human. Tell yourself that. You are human. What you went through with the abuse, the toxic situation, was not your fault. But now that you're aware, you know, I cannot be by myself. It's a very struggle. What makes you feel like you can't be by yourself, Erin? Do you mean like living by yourself, or just sitting by yourself for a few minutes so you can hear your thoughts and drown the noise out? I should be wearing my reading glasses. They watch over you for years to see how they can manipulate your emotions. Where's your reading glasses, Robbie? Strain your eyes, you get a headache. Uh-oh. All right, let's see. What else can we hit on? What else do you guys want to talk about? Anybody else come in here that is still living with the narcissist? Trying to kind of stay on topic. You know, even with when you lived with the narcissistic dynamics growing up in a family, we can talk about that. It's about still being in that situation and trying to survive, operating out of trauma, because you can't think about healing when you're still in those dynamics. You cannot heal in the same toxic environment that destroyed you or tried to destroy you. I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna go on here. My back is hurting me, you guys. For sitting so long. Eventually I'll have a nice office. I am, but I'm healing now regardless and trying to move on to a version of sorts that I was given. It is good that you're trying to heal and move on. And that's all we can do. And it sometimes feels like things aren't happening fast enough, but that's where being gentle comes in. Being gentle with yourself. Trying thinking of yourself as a wonderful home you decorate and what makes you happy. Beautiful home also has walls, boundaries, positive energy, your light, nutritional food, good health. Yes, all of it. All of it matters. And every little thing that you tell yourself. One example I have is, okay, before I get into that, I'm about to get off here too. It was nice to meet everyone. It's about time to eat. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time on the channel and the live and for the conversation. You're always welcome back here. This is a safe space of shredding silence, and I hope the rest of your day as well. Remember, positive talks to yourself and never allow others to dim your light. Yeah, giving yourself grace is one thing that's, it's I think, like muscle memory. I'm glad you'll be back. Thank you, Robbie. Muscle memory of how replacing those negative thoughts with the positive ones, allowing yourself grace. I know one thing, when we used to come home from work when he was still here and the house would be you know, dirty dishes or laundry or whatever, I have to force myself now to say, hey, those don't need to be done right now. What's more important is my rest, because I've had such a long, mentally exhausting, physically exhausting day, and give yourself permission to rest. I think rest, first and foremost, is the most important thing, and then the way you talk to yourself. You have to catch yourself and replace it with positive things, because you are not the things the narcissist called you. You're not the things that they made you feel. It's all a lie. And the reason they got around you is because the dark likes the light. Even shadows chase the light, and you were the light. You were something that they could never be, so they had to try to destroy you. They could never be like you. They're just out to use people and destroy people. So finding those boundaries and talking to yourself in a healthy, positive way is going to repel those kind of people in your future. It's the best repellent. Healthy, strong boundaries and talking to yourself, knowing who you are and that no one is going to mess with you like that again, is going to repel those kinds of people. Because they will dismiss themselves. They'll give up. They want people that are easy to manipulate. They believe in their mask and their false charm, their false narrative, their performance. But we can see right through that now. So when you have the confidence and self-love, the way you talk to and treat yourself, they don't like that. It's like scaring them. It's like turning on the light for Dracula. They don't like the light. Ah! And that's what you want. So the more that you build that up, that's your repellent for no one to ever be able to treat you like that again. Ever. And I talked earlier about solitude versus isolation. Solitude is like a filter. When you filter out those kinds of people, because you are vetting somebody, you are watching their behavior and letting them show you who they are without interrupting that. Let people show you who they are. And I'm going to do some videos about that too, with body language. You know, pay attention when you're talking to someone. Are they even curious about what you have to say? What are their facial expressions when you tell them something emotional, like say, I don't know, your pet died or something? And do their eyebrows go up? Do they have any kind of facial expression, or is it blank? Do they just talk about themselves? You can sense when someone doesn't truly want to get to know you versus they are just reading you. They're reading you and studying you, as narcissists do, to try to use that against you later. They'll have a blank stare. And there's another one, like the blink rate. Narcissists will, if you tell them something like your vulnerabilities, their blink rate will be pretty much nothing. They just stare. I remember telling the narcissist, like, he could stare for a long time. I'm like, do you ever blink? And now I know why. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why. That's why he didn't blink a whole lot. Used to start shaking uncontrollably at noon because I knew he'd be home soon. It's not been easy, but it's worth the journey to find my pace. Wow, that's heavy. Like your body physically is getting sick because you know that they're going to be there soon. I'm so glad you don't have to deal with that no more. Living in fear is not living at all. I hope you are doing better, able to. Katie, Spy, Robbie, thank you for being here. Hope to see you next time. Do they show you compassion? If not, they're not available for you. Yes, compassion and also reciprocation. You know, because when you're in the narcissistic relationship, you're the one doing all the work. You're the one wanting to go to therapy. You're the one wanting to have the conversations to come to resolution. You're the one trying harder. You're the one loving harder. And they're the one just sitting there while you row the boat all the time. And that goes for any relationship, you know, in the healing process. If you're the one always having to reach out, if you're the one that's the only one making the effort, those kind of people don't deserve your energy. Save it. They're thieves. The thieves. Figure out what authenticity looks like. Yes. Right, 120 minutes. It's an hour and a half. That's about almost an hour and a half. That's how long I was on last time. But anybody else in here, like, I always ask, like, what you guys would like to talk about. What stage of healing are you in? Because I like to center these lives and my videos around what you guys are going through. Because there's endless amount of content about toxic dynamics and narcissistic abuse that I could come up with. But I'd rather it center around what you guys are going through, what you guys need. What stage are you at? Are you still in it? Are you starting to get out? How long have you been out? What are you struggling with? What do you guys need right now in your healing journey? Because all of us are going through different stages. So I'm probably going to get off here in like 10 more minutes. I got to work on some stuff behind the scenes. Currently struggling with breaking a current trauma bond with a past relationship. Months post-divorce, noticing anxiety about what comes now. 11 months post-divorce and breaking a trauma bond. I remember one of the things I first did when I tried to break the trauma bond with this last relationship with the narcissist is writing down everything they did to violate your boundaries, how that made you feel. And you write the good things versus the bad things. So you have two here, and most likely the bad things are gonna weigh down. That's what I did first. I just wrote down every single thing they said and did that made me feel like this. That helped me break the trauma bond. And then tell yourself that, you know, you didn't deserve that. You did not deserve any of that. And you see them for who they really are. Like they were lying to you from the get-go. And that just, now when I look at, I don't know about you guys, but I've saved pictures of the narcissist. And the reason I do that is because I look at them now and I think, oh my God, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? You know, so it helps me, like I'm in a place where, what's that word where you just don't really feel anything for them anymore, except they do make you sick? I don't know what the word is for it. So 11 months post-divorce, noticing anxiety about what comes now. Yes, because you're always waiting. Hi, Katrina. Yes, Katrina, because you're always waiting for the shoe to drop. You're always on a heightened, your nervous system is always not, it's not able to relax. So you wonder, okay, what's coming next? How are you? I'm glad I could make you laugh. I like your kitty. I always think, oh, it looks like my cat. I don't know if you've seen my cat. I don't know where she is. I have a black cat too. Big old green pea eyes. Yes, and that anxiety about what's coming now, next, is, you know, that's what grounding is going to help with. Good today. I'm glad you're good today. grounding yourself and living in the moment will help with that. I was talking about earlier, I don't know if you were on here, how trauma lives in our bodies. And I've been doing some somatic exercising and like dancing, and you just like shaking your body, turning up the music really loud and just screaming the lyrics, dancing around the house. It doesn't matter what you look like. You know, if you have to go do it in private, do it in private. Punching a pillow, just stomping on the floor, shaking it out, punch a bag, punch a pillow, just get it out of your body, and that will ground you. So then when you bring that adrenaline and your cortisol levels down, and you're able to then breathe and ground yourself. Another good one is like a bowl of ice, and just stick your hands in there for as long as you can maybe tolerate it, a few seconds, and that'll ground you immediately. And then you can start breathing and just calming down and bring yourself back into your body. Because when we get into our heads too much, that's what we start thinking about. Oh, what about this? What about that? What if that happens? What if that happens? And then your cortisol is just pumped up all the time. So that's one way that helps me. I know it helps my daughter too, because when you get past that I can't breathe, breathing stage doesn't work, that will help you. And I even heard a mom on TikTok, like when her kids are upset and they're having, you know, meltdowns and stuff, she'll go get the little soft ice packs and put it on their head or the back of their neck or whatever, and it instantly calms them down. So yeah, try that. And I'm gonna try to put out more stuff about that. I eventually, I have so much I want to do with the channel that I get overwhelmed, because there's almost, you know, there's almost only so much time in the day. But I want to help you guys more with trauma tools. Sloth from Goonies. The sloth from Goonies? There's a sloth in Goonies? Anyways, I want to make some of those videos, like the exercising, not exercising, just like shaking the trauma out of your body, because it lives there, the trauma and the stress. You know, with stress on top of everyday life, and then we're trying to heal too from all the abuse, the years. It's not an overnight thing. It takes work. It takes a lot out of you. And Katrina, I hope that you're able to sleep, like allow yourself, if you need a nap or something, take a freaking nap. You know, because it takes a lot out of you, healing. It really does. And I'm not sure what the sloth from Goonies is, Katie. What? The eldest brother that was chained up in the bay. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I don't remember that movie too much, except they watered him and they... Is it Goonies? No, Goonies is a different movie. Is it? I'm thinking of the one with the cute little animal. What was his name? Gizmo. Yeah, I don't think I'm remembering the same movie. It's been a minute. But anyways, I think all of us in here are out of the narcissistic relationship. If I'm wrong, it is Hi Stargazer. I recognize your name. I've seen you comment on some of my videos. How are you? I was just asking people on the live if anybody's still in the same household with the narcissist. Gremlins. Yes, gremlins. If anybody is still living with the narcissist, how to deal with that, the challenges of that. And I'm good, just taking one day at a time. You know, the whole healing process is not linear, up and down like a roller coaster. But it's a lot better than being in the relationship with a narcissist, I'll tell you that. Okay. This is something else I wanted to say too. You know, when you're in the same household with them, and then you get out, it's sometimes hard to know what you need, even because you've been in survival mode for so long. Like, you have no clue. It's like you're coming out of, I don't know, you're being placed into this ocean or in the middle of nowhere all by yourself, and you're so dazed and confused, and it takes a minute. Yes, it takes a while to recover. What's working for you, Stargazer? What's working for you, or what are some challenges that you've had? Excuse me, you guys. These bubbles are making me burp, burp. Being in a narc ship. Hey, that's a good way to say it. Narc ship is like a never-ending rickety amusement ride. Hmm. Yeah, it really is. That's a good way to describe it. And how many of you guys have heard about that new documentary coming out? I am still in. He's trying to lose weight, so I think he's found someone to monkey branch to. I hope it works out for him so he will leave me alone. Oh, still bothering you, huh? Yeah, they monkey branch. They monkey branch and then try to branch back, swing back to you. I hope he leaves you alone too. It's hard when you live in the same vicinity as them, the same city. That's why a lot move away. If I could move away, I would, but it's just not financially doable right now. How many of you in here have had to move away from the narcissist or that toxic person? Doesn't have to have a label on it. You know, abuse is abuse. This is the perfect time and implement gray rock. Yes, gray rock is your friend. And they hate that. They hate that they don't get, emotional reaction out of you. And it makes it scary for some people because that might tip off a narcissist. They get so frustrated that you're not responding or giving them the fuel that they want. If you don't emotionally react, some of them can be pretty dangerous. Hopefully none of you are in that situation. No direct eye contact, no smiles. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just be very boring. Hopefully they'll go off with their other supply and leave you alone, until you can figure a way to get out. And for those of you that are in here, even if you don't want to talk, just drop a heart or something like that, or some kind of emoji, so I know you're here. I'm multitasking. And I'm hungry. I have to eat. What could I have for lunch, you guys? Did you guys eat? Do you guys have to remind yourself to eat? Sometimes I'm like famished, and other times I forget to eat. My narc had multiple traps set for me. I would have been dead, jail, or homeless. Jesus walked me around every trap they set for me. And yes, I moved 500 miles away from the narc and started a new life. That is awesome. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you got away. 500 miles. That's a nice, healthy amount. And thanks for the hearts. So glad you're out of that. And I'm glad you dodged the traps. Yeah, it would be nice to move. It's kind of cold in here. I think we've been on for 2 hours now. Always have your covered tumbler of water to avoid communication? What do you mean? So, what do you mean by that? Your covered tumbler of water. You know, I forget who it was that was talking about eggs earlier. That sounds really good. We were talking about healthy things to eat, you know, when you're in recovery. Because sometimes you don't have the motivation to cook and you just want something fast, which could be dangerous. So I think I'll make some eggs for lunch. So probably stay on maybe 5 or 10 more minutes. Yep, the healing. The healing, the learning to talk to yourself, learning how to calm yourself down. They're different to learn because we're not used to that. But like I said, it's like muscle memory. Once you keep doing something over and over, it'll just become natural to you. The way that it was natural to think it was normal, how we were talked to and how we were treated, like we were nothing. Because all of that was lies. They try to get you to react to their crazy making. Take a big drink and walk further away from their presence. Always implement a way to get away from their controlling bubble. Did that help you? Like, did the narc follow you around the house ever, Katie, when you tried that? Because you know how a lot of them will follow you around? They don't want to give you your space. Or they'll block the door and stop you from going out, or just follow you. Hi again, Erin. You know who we're missing on here? Giuseppe. He's a regular of ours. Giuseppe said he'd be on here, but maybe he just couldn't get away. Sorry, I'm just having a mental moment. What's going on, Erin? What can we do to ground you? Ground yourself from the mental moment. Did something trigger you? How could you care for yourself right now? Doesn't have anything to do with the narcissist. That's okay. Life itself can be triggering. Dear Lord, yes, at one point in time I would fake diarrhea to avoid it. Oh my God. You know, some of them might not even care about that. They'd come and knock down the bathroom door. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. just thinking about my papa. You're missing him. That's okay. Just sit with those feelings. Don't try to kick them out or avoid them, because when you shove it down, it comes back in a different way. Just acknowledge it and be gentle with yourself. It's okay to be human and miss those people. Miss your pop. Yeah, learning how to care for yourself and to calm your thoughts and calm your mind is self-care that we have to learn to do. Stink spray is good. It's a good friend to have. Amazon sells it. You're so funny, Katie. Just keep yourself grounded. Passed away in December 2025. Oh, that wasn't that far away then, Erin. I'm so sorry. My condolences. That's pretty fresh still. And just think of the good memories about your papa. What's something that you cherish that you remember about him? Like maybe a song that he had or a certain saying that he had. Sometimes it helps to talk about the good memories that we have with them. Man, I gotta get off here soon and go get something to eat. My stomach's growling at me. I wasn't really prepared before my live today. Time just goes so fast. I want to see what you say, Erin. Thank you. Talking with you is helping me. May I keep on talking to you. Well, I'm going to get off in a few minutes because I forgot to eat before coming on this live. But if you could tell us something, a fond memory you have of your papa, and then I'm going to wrap it up. And just, you know, think of the happy memories with him. Think of the private jokes y'all shared. Yes, like Katie said, did your papa tell you any private funny jokes? Would always call me octopus hips. Why? Octopus hips? Octopus don't even have hips. Yeah, that kind of loss stays with you, Erin. Sometimes it shows up in ways people don't understand. But when you've been through with something like that, you end up having to comfort yourself, you know, in ways you should have never had to. But like Katie says, just think of the good times. If he told you any private jokes, you know. Grief is one of those ways, like you have to try to hold yourself together even though you're falling apart. And we all had that grief, you know. When you get out of a narcissistic abusive relationship, you have to grieve that person because they weren't real. And it's hard grieving someone that's still alive as well as when they're not anymore because you have wide hips. Sounds like your papa had a sense of humor. But you guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I really need to go get something to eat. It's called self-care that we have to practice, you know, and be gentle with ourselves. But I want to thank you all for being here today, and I welcome you back every Sunday. I will have a live. If I don't for some reason, it's because I just can't. I don't have the energy, and I need self-care. But as I always say, never allow others to dim your light and always choose yourself. And thank you all again for being here. You all mean so much to me and the Shredding Silence community. My dad and I used to work on old cars together, and oil pan will make me cry happy tears. That's good. Keep those good memories. You all take care, and I will see you next time. Every time I think about him, not too long after my ball, I know that. I'm so sorry to hear that, Erin. All right, if you guys need to, like, you can post in the community. That's where we kind of connect a little bit more. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Take care. Love you all. Signing off for now. Shredding Silence. If I can find the off button. Bye, you guys.